can tell you, that the panel looks very diverse when we look at their profile. There's someone from the exchange, there's someone from the foreign bank, and we also have someone from Muthoot, who's known to be a leading name in the gold lending business. And then Archit is a new kid on the block when we talk about the digital gold distribution. And of course, Pramod, he wears several hats. He has been as a bullion banker, and now he's doing too many things, and we will come to know about that when Pramod starts talking. But there's one thing which connects them all is how they have been able to bring about changes in the way business is conducted. And how they have done is by greater use of technology. And that will be the underlying theme for this session. And so to start the session, I will request each of you to give a brief introduction and try to cover like how you are trying to bring those changes, and because you come from diverse fields, so what is that unique thing which you are trying to do? And I think starting with Keyur.
Hi, I am Keyur Shah. I represent the Muthoot Papachan Group. Muthoot is primarily known as a gold loan NBFC, but I have started the jewelry business, scrap business for the group. One of the things which we believe, we obviously cater to the masses, mass Indians, the low-income consumers. And what we've observed, any change if you want to bring into the gold industry, you have to think of volume and you have to think of adoption by the masses. Most of the times we end up discussing what affects the top 5% of India, which then either it fizzles out or something new comes. But like a simple example, just now everybody buys gold coins, technically they're medallions, in tamper-proof certified packs. It's very simple, no? Everywhere, it's obvious. But in 2004-5, before that, it was always in this plastic dibbies, which you should get in jewelers. Now, what happened that time, and that's when I was in World Gold Council, not in Muthoot Group, and that was one of the first projects, where World Gold Council pursued ICICI Bank, got PAMP from Switzerland to produce those coins, and got it packaged, then lobbied across. And so that is where I would focus on. And as a group, even in Muthoot now, what we do, since we deal with the common man or the low-income consumers, a lot of rural consumers, what changes we can bring there that actually impacts the overall industry standards. We'll talk more specifics.
I think now Shivanshu can...
Sure, thanks, Harsh. I think as an exchange, primarily the role is to be a medium of exchange of risk is one, to be a platform for, where gold gets more established as an asset class for the retail participants through new and newer products. And of course, it also then becomes a platform for quality assured delivery, where gold can be systematically invested into and held electronically. And when I said the first point about risk management, it's just like, in the past 2 decades or so, we have seen almost every listed jeweler, every medium jeweler, and now, multitudes of smaller jewelers enter the hedging ecosystem, exchange ecosystem. There, we are continuously trying to expand capacities, just like what Keyur said, that we try and go to tier 2, tier 3 cities and ensure that people are in the mainstream and they stay away from evils like dabba trading, etc. And that is achieved through awareness campaigns. I also, apart from MCX, I also represent the IIBX, and there has been a sweeping, a spate of positive developments we discussed in detail yesterday. But why that is important is because that is actually, it has the potential to change the way India is seen globally, and also to change the way gold gets channelized into the country. And we've seen the banks being permitted recently, and that is a very big one. And we are seeing the initial green shoots of volumes there, and already in silver and in gold. And we are hopeful that that can actually serve the regulatory vision as well as the vision of the country, which IIBX promises to achieve. And I think going ahead, we should see that playing a very big role.
Thank you. So Mehul, coming from a foreign bank, how do you see the trend, the gold, when we talk about the gold trading? So what kind of a trend you're seeing now? Is there anything which is changing and at the global level which can affect India as well?
Okay. Just to introduce myself, I come from First Rand Bank, South Africa. So everything is changed for us because we come from gold producing country to now gold consuming country, and the entire pipeline is taken care of. And the whole idea was that we know how to source gold, but we go and hedge in the international market. But now let's go and sell to the consuming market, and that's the whole idea. That was the whole idea behind setting up this business. And as we understood the back end of it, it was much easier to understand, to deal in the other side of the trade. Now, similarly, the change that we are seeing right now as IIBX coming up, it's one more way of trading into India. Right now, we are looking at it as that way. We are not saying that this will get over or that will start or this is going to impact this or that. It's one more way of trading. And we are looking at it as an opportunity to participate in India market. And there are strings of things happening here. And, as recent as Monday, we met the regulators, and the kind of push, the understanding, the efforts that the entire team is putting there, that tells you that the regulator push exchange will definitely have much more impact in the market, because just 15 days ago there was a delegation which met the ministry for some enablement, and that too was led by the regulator and the IIBX. So that tells you that the focus is in the right direction and the interest is there to make it a success. So I would say we are looking at this change as a very positive one, and it will definitely be one more aspect or way of trading. And this will also help many other participants to participate in India on both sides, whether it is on the supply side or on the buy side, where the small jewelers do not have access to some platforms. So this will help them.
I think this is a very good development, and I'm very happy to see you here today. I wish you were here yesterday when we had a session on banking as well. And in fact, the presence of a foreign bank was definitely missed there. Over to Archit now. Archit is trying to create value in the gold which has already been purchased. So what happens generally, when you buy gold, it is just lying in the vault, and people are not earning out of it. So Archit is trying to do something innovative and using the technology and trying to create some value out of it. So I would love to hear it from you.
Sure. Thanks, Harish, first of all, for inviting me to a session. So I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Archit. I'm from Gullak Money. Gullak is a digital gold-based savings app. Gullak in Hindi means a piggy bank or a hundi in Tamil or Telugu. The idea was that our vision is to help 100 million Indians create wealth, right? So we want to democratize wealth creation for a larger Bharat. And that's the core mission where we are starting with. Me and my other co-founders, we all come from JustPay, which was a payments technology company. We come from hardcore UPI world. We built the BHIM app back in the day. And we have seen the UPI transform, how UPI has transformed all of our lives right today. I come from Ahmedabad, where I remember right after the UPI launch, there was a time when everybody said, I'll not take anything but cash. And now is the time, like recently I forgot my phone and nobody said, no, it's okay, just do UPI. So that's the transformation we have seen with UPI, and we very fundamentally believe that technology has the capability to change if we unlock the right doors, right? At Gullak, we wanted to democratize wealth creation, and we see a potential with India's love for gold. I don't have to throw numbers to this room. We all know what gold means to India. And the very core proposition that, hey, you can do 10 rupees SIP. You can just set up an SIP for 10 rupees. So SIP for gold was unheard of earlier. We were the first ones to make that available for everyone. And that you can simply set up a SIP using UPI autopay. So we all are friendly how to use a phone pay or a Google Pay, etc. And that is something that got us enormous amount of interest from people. And now, like Harish was saying, now we also have our another proposition, which is a gold leasing product, which is called Gold Plus, where users can get extra returns on top of their gold price appreciation returns that they get every year, which has in turn helped us get more interest from the users, and users are more happy about the product. So, yeah.
Thank you, Archit. Pramod, as I have given a brief introduction, he has been a bullion banker, and so now he is doing multiple things. And so I would love to hear it from Pramod, like how is he trying to make some changes in this industry?
Thanks, Harish, and thanks for the invite and for a great conference so far. So just to give you a very quick background, I represent FinMet. It's a company formed by 3 bullion bankers. So one, Sunil is based out of Hong Kong, Johnson is based out of Mumbai, and I'm based out of Dubai. So between the 3 of us, we have the privilege and the unique position where we interact with the trade, whether it's the jewelers, the wholesalers, the traders, financial institutions in all these markets. We have been working very closely in these markets, and what we firmly believe, what change we can bring in is only through technology and the best practices. And since we realize the importance of technology, we have set up a company called FinMet Technologies. So probably my role today is more of representing FinMet Technologies, where we work with financial institutions in India to bring the retail gold loans more affordable to the masses, and work very closely with the jewelers on the digital gold. So for the purpose of this panel, I would don the hat of
that's absolutely fine. And in fact, we have now some specific questions. So I'll start taking a reference from the address of the chief guest today in the morning, that the saving rates are falling in India. So is it a cause of worry for Gullak kind of an organization, or is it an opportunity?
I mean, yeah, it's a yes and no both. So India, fundamentally, we have been save now, buy later country rather than a buy now, pay later country. And of course, we all have been beneficiaries of the entire credit world, and we have seen that help the country and the economy grow. But fundamentally, as people, we are all very, very savings focused. So if the savings rate have gone down for numerous reasons, which I don't have to say right now, but the idea is we definitely see this as an opportunity. Now, how that reflects for digital gold is another question. So we see, like any other product, right? Any other digital first product, the low, and especially the lower income group where we have seen the decline in savings, the idea is that this segment is always a late majority and not your classic early entrant to any digital first product. If I give a UPI reference here, the largest UPI app, PhonePe, for first 12 to 18 months was only used in Mumbai and Bangalore, and very, very few small pockets of other metros, but it took it good 4 to 5 years to penetrate the larger country. So I feel it's early days. One of the core challenges here is trust in the product, in the ecosystem. As a company, we try and do different things to win the trust, right from proactively educating the users about what digital gold is, creating content in native languages, etc. But at the same time, instant withdrawals, for making first gold coin delivery free and things like that. We do a lot of things to win the trust, but then as an ecosystem to build trust at digital gold level, I think the end customer should have a regulatory recourse. Having more interoperable ecosystem, etc., will definitely create more trust.
So what is your idea, Keyur, on this? How do you bring in the masses using your idea of technology?
See, first thing, when you just now started saying savings rate falling in India, But in gold, is the consumption going down? No. If you see year on year, in fact, it's going up. Technology point of view, so as you know, Ajit was mentioning, Gullak, is one of the leading players in the digital gold. We've also created an in-house digital gold product, which is, again, as I started saying, it's currently in the assisted digital format because we deal with the low-income consumers. These people are not yet fully comfortable with smartphones. But this does, see what we try to do, and I think what learning which we've got and I've implemented in my earlier projects or products, services in the group is, you need to simulate the existing environment with some enhancement, then the adoption is faster. So for example, a Indian housewife is used to saving bits and pieces in gold and then converting into jewelry. So our digital gold product is very similar to most of, I think all of us have the same product, but we focus a lot in the end in physical redemption in jewelry specifically, not only coins. And that's where we've seen, I've launched my product 1.5 years back. I already have 2 lakh consumers who are adopted digital gold. And see, another thing, as I think I also mentioned, most of the innovations, I think the challenge within the industry is everybody focuses on the top end of the market. We focus on the bottom end and simulating the existing habits. So, 2 lakh customers already enrolled. Almost 80% of them are holding the digital gold with us for more than 90 days. And compare that with other players, all of them to buy, sell, I think 5% are holding gold. So it's more of a trading platform there for the end consumers. For us, it is converting or changing the long-term saving habit of Indian consumers into gold, but into a far more efficient way.
So I think I want to add here, when we talk about the systematic investment plans for the masses, it's just my idea, the way I look at it is that I think the buy-sell should be minimized. And that's the whole idea of a SIP, So that you're basically giving importance to building the long-term wealth. So I think that is where I think you guys should need to work and focus on, and not necessarily in just getting the number of clients. To retain them is also, in my opinion, is much more profitable. And so on that count, Shivanshu, I think you are doing a lot on the exchange delivered gold and silver products. So how does that impact this? How are you bringing in the systematic investments into the whole scheme of things?
So we have products in a variety of denominations to cater to small retailers as well. We have the world's only, the first at least, gold 1 gram contract which is deliverable. And we've seen about 600 kgs delivered since we launched it. We have seen about 280, 290 tons of silver 1 kg bars, which is again a retail product. And why I talk about delivery is not really the essence of a commodity derivative platform, but we must look at it this way, that spot came about much later, or is still coming about, EGR. It just so happened that futures developed much earlier, and we became a domestic price benchmark, which is serving another need. But having said that, so these type of products, we keep on we innovating. We are coming up with some new products as well. We have the 8 gram, we have the 100 gram, we have the 30 kg and 1 kg anyway. Now the point is that why is it easy? Because it is quality assured. It's a regulated environment, number one. That is a very important thing. You see, it is electronic enablement is there for it to be held in DMAT form, commerce system. And if you want to take physical delivery, you can. You see, today, the flow of money in SIPs is coming because of a certain regulatory comfort. Let's remember that. It is an unsaid factor, but it's a factor. So, for example, all these products are at the end of the futures contract. So right now we don't have a frequency, but we can always do that. We can, and now anyway, if the taxation issues of the EGR are sorted out, with SEBI, there is a working group already working on it, we are part of it, then EGR can become a backbone for a variety of products, for a variety of mutual funds, ETFs, etc. So what we are trying to create here in various segmental methods, with due respect and regard to everyone, that can be done via a single thing, and that is at the end of a conduit where you are anyway seeing the flow into capital markets. So that is a distinct advantage.
So changing the track again. So one thing which is very close to my heart also, I love to discuss about that. We are sitting on 30,000 tons, and that everybody knows that this is a conservative estimate. And knowing that the below ground identified yet to be mined gold is almost, I think, about 58,000 ton or something. So this number looks very, very significant. And I think that is where the opportunity lies for some tech intervention. So why it has not got into that much of attention? I think I would request everybody to contribute in this. So we can start with Pramod now.
So definitely, so the gold monetization scheme that's by the government was based on the presumption that it's a great opportunity for the gold to be used or brought back to the market. But unfortunately, we haven't seen much traction on that for whatever reasons. So when we looked at it very carefully and did have detailed discussions with multiple banks in India. So not only bullion banks, but banks who has got other commercial banks and smaller banks across India. And the traction was very less, all right, for various reasons, right? So it's what we need to figure out is a way which is not in the current form. And I'm sure World Gold Council and the Policy Center have a working group in terms of providing some pragmatic solutions for this, and technology is definitely going to be the key in that. So now with the kind of smartphone infiltration into the masses in India, I think it's about how do we convert that into something more pragmatic, and based on which work out a scheme which allows this gold to come out.
And that is where I think, Archit, your role is very critical. So when do you think of your next innovation? Do you have this thing in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, so of course, that's one of the top things that anybody in this ecosystem is aware of, that there is 30,000 tons of gold lying in Indian households. And so the leasing product Gold Plus is one of the first steps in that direction, where we try and explain the users that you can make something out of the gold that is sitting idle, right? Make your gold work for you, kind of a thing. That's the first step in that direction. And we are directionally 100% aligned that we need to do something, to make the gold sitting in households rotate as well. Having said that, like Pramod said, there are some challenges there, right? Right from infrastructure to how do we ensure trust and safety and 100% visibility.
So we have we have a huge problem statement here, and that is where the solution lies with you.
Yeah,
And
I mean, so there are a bunch of problems there, from trust and infra to how, and also it has to be, the unit economics of it should work for the businesses who are into this, right? So, of course, there is a lot of intervention required from multiple parties, and I would just say we are working in that direction to make something
I'm
work.
changing the sequence. I think you wants to say something.
I want to, because
I'll come
2
to
points.
you later.
See, what will help if you want to monetize the gold which is lying, and as Muthoot, and Muthoot and Manappurams probably are the only successful mass players who have brought out tons of gold from lockers into the formal system by the way of this gold pledging which is happening. One of the things which can help, one is government RBI needs to recognize digital gold and allow everybody to give loan against it. Then what you'll see suddenly the markets explode and everybody will want to save in digital gold, because that can easily be monetized, and there are many advantages of monetizing that. Why? Because currently physical, we have to assess, there's infrastructure is required, we have strong rooms everywhere, there could be spurious stuff, right? Your digital gold, it is safely lying in a certified manner in a vault, and the loan can be digitally transferred to the customer's account. It eradicates a lot of cash transactions. So that's one major change if it can happen. Second is, I just want to say what Shivanshu mentioned, EGR. Obviously, the taxation issue needs to be resolved, but if you want to make it a mass product and everybody aligned to it at the back end, like from the gold loan players like us or Arjit, or from even jewelers doing the small saving scheme, EGR denominations should be minimal, start from 0.1 gram. That's what you will see, because otherwise, digital gold as a product currently is far more democratic and consumer friendly than the EGR system. And again, bringing it back, think about mass India. EGR to access, you need to be on the exchange, you need to have DMAT. How much percent of India currently has got DMAT? However fast it's growing, it'll take decades till you have 70-80% of India having access to the markets.
Right. So Shivanshu, I think as Keyur has mentioned, that EGR also has a role to play in that. So any thoughts?
Yeah, essentially EGR would also just, a tangential fact, but it's with the same theme, is that like we introduced the Indian refiners. So the primary thing that serves, this initiative serves is that you are able to recycle gold. You are able to make it of exchange good quality and then sell it on the exchange. So essentially it is the same thing. And I mean, initial results, about 2 years, we have seen around 5,000 crores worth of gold, around 8 tons of gold, which has been delivered this way. Of course, EGR will also lend itself to, I'm sure, to Indian refiners. And if it does, then it ends up meeting that kind of purpose. The only thing is, see, there's a reason why I think, the collateral aspect of bullion as such. I think there's a cap of 50 grams, isn't it? If somebody is sitting at home with a bullion bar or coin, and he wants to come to you and get it financed. So
There's no cap.
there is no cap in the form of a bullion bar, not jewelry.
No, see, only banks can give loan against bullion.
Yeah.
NBFCs like us can only give loan against jewelry.
Understood. That's what I'm saying. So that is itself.
I don't know what's the...
So if we are going to make a bullion bar of standard, okay, to ensure that it's of good quality, and then you're going to have it vault to vault, and you're going to have it dematerialized. Only then, and then you are able to lend. So we are having an essential, very basic question here, that then you should allow lending against bullion bars, right? That is the whole point, and it should be in a closed loop system, so that if somebody who's a jeweler who intends to get it, ultimately that is when it exits. Till then, it can move electronically. So that type of a thing. So, I mean, the Indian gold refiner is an example which I gave. It is serving the same theme, at least from our side. EGR, when it comes, again, it can be made to serve the same thing.
Just to add one nuance, just one nuance to what he's mentioned. Obviously, our industry stakeholders' attempt has been to pursue the authorities, RBI, the government, to make changes. The easier thing, which in my view is to get RBI to recognize digital gold than to allow loan against bullion. Why? Because that had connotations because of CAD issues and all that. Government didn't want to be seen that they're encouraging the public to buy more and more bullion, buy jewelry, okay? But moment if you say digital thing, why it also falls in sync with digitization plan of the government, that everything then there's cash transactions are eliminated. So I'm saying getting small wins, but in this direction will help transform the entire, this whole physical and cash transaction related negative mindset which the government has built for the industry.
I completely agree with Keyur. Like, I think there's a better traceability and there's a lot you can do with that. And so the whole financialization of gold which we talk about, that purpose is served. Pramod wanted to add?
Half a minute.
Pramod, after Pramod.
Okay.
So just to add to what Keyur just mentioned, definitely Manappuram and Muthoot has played a key role in terms of getting the gold, providing liquidity to the gold. And banks can play a bigger role in that because the kind of network all the big banks have across India. See, what we feel is that the bank should focus on what they're good at, which is taking deposits and lending, right? So when it comes to doing a gold loan, they need to have an assayer in the branch. They need to have a locker system to take the gold and keep it. So I think this has to really change. And they just need to focus on what they're good at They need to get this outsourced to companies who has got the technology and who has got the ability to store the gold in a very secure way. It's properly tagged. At any point in time, if the banks want to do audit, they can get the audits done. So they just need to completely move away from the infrastructure related to the gold loan business.
Right.
It needs to be handled by the experts
Basically, yeah.
who has got the
That's
ability, the technology, the bandwidth, and the ability to monitor, do the mark to market on an ongoing basis, provide the feedback to the banks, and they just need to focus on the lending part.
Yeah, I agree. I think you basically need to isolate them from the risk of handling the physical gold. And Mehul, I think with your banking experience, you have worked in Indian banks as well. So
Actually, precisely rightly mentioned by Pramod, that actually, because before this I used to work with HDFC and we had a very small portfolio on loan against jewelry. But now if you look at this today, it'll be many folds. And like he said, banks have better reach, connections, infrastructure, processes in place, in addition to, of course, Muthoot and Manappuram in being there. So there is enough scope available. And other thing is that for a woman, jewelry in that shape has some value. And also, they have paid some cost to make it. So to just give it away for melting and test, then take it in digital form, there is some kind of loss that they are incurring at that point of time. So I would say that it's important that the monetization is happening. And if this way of monetization or that way, it doesn't matter. It should be part of the entire ecosystem.
So basically, what you're saying is when a woman buys a gold jewelry, so the man in the house is not keeping any track. So he's not looking at the financial aspect of that.
That's indirect way.
Okay. So I think we.
One more change is required. One more thing from the government required. Besides the locker gold coming to us for pledging, if we want all that locker gold to come out formally, in terms of, see, I am into recycling business, we have consumer touch points, we are buying physical. But best would be if government can incentivize the conversion of physical to demat, so EGRs. Why? Because there are 3% GST loss. That's the reason. We've tried. We are into physical buying from end consumers. We've asked them, what do you think? Why do you convert into our digital gold only? But nobody wants to, obviously nobody wants to bear that loss. When you have the neighborhood jeweler giving them full cash value, which with a premium also. Why? And that's where players like us can't compete. But that incentivization, 3% loss of GST happens when you buy and sell or convert physical gold at a consumer level to digital. If something can be done, that will also transform the market.
So I think, yes, Shivanshu wanted to say something. Yeah.
That is a tax issue about also.
In fact, it is under consideration, under the scope of discussion at a working group which is going on, because that is an impediment to it. No, what I was earlier trying to say is that while we are mentioning digital gold, we must sort of remember one thing, that ultimately, if something explodes and becomes a huge mass appeal item, it is all the more important that it is held and dealt with responsibly. Because you may end up in a situation in which somebody is with a mobile phone looking at a screen, and at the end of it, there's nothing.
Right.
So I mean, there's a reason why there's a particular opinion formed at a particular level. So somebody has to be, like what Pramod said, an agency or a nodal point where the responsibility of quality, quantity, and where it is held in which vault, serial number, transparency, etc., traceability, all that has to come. And that's why EGR has a 3-level protection: regulator, exchange, depository, and then vault, 4-way.
But I think now is the time to really launch it. So we've been hearing about it for some time. And
Launched, but then due to the taxation.
no, but that can be taken up. So I think when we have discussed about all these multiple things, so what I felt, there are multiple, problems that we need to solve. And so that is why I think there's a lot needs to be done. The first thing is, I think we need to create motivation for, I think the banks have to play a major role here. And so we have to create motivation for them so that they come forward, and if they see value in this, How do we create that motivation, or how do we create that value for the banks? We need to deliberate on that. On that account, I think we can close this session. We also running late on my time as well. Yeah, so we will, of course, we will come to the audience now. Yeah, Prem, yeah.
Okay. So regarding the digital gold, there is a loss of 3% GST on count of purchase and sale. So I think EGR will be a solution to that also, I believe, because instead of investing your digital gold into physical gold, you invest to buy EGR and keep it into safe custody, because hopefully GST will not be levied on the EGRs till such time the delivery is taken. So that is going to be resolved very soon, hopefully.
Hopefully. So that's what would really want. See, we all can align ourselves back end to EGR. It's easier for us, safer for us also into buying bullion and keeping in custody. But either if it is at the if it at the consumer level, then fractional EGR should be there. Or as an entity, I can buy it collectively on behalf of thousands of customers. So that change should be allowed.
Yes.
Everybody will align to
Absolutely.
EGR.
So for smaller clients, digital gold will work. Maybe for a bigger client, then EGR is in any case, because outreach of digital gold is much higher as compared to the
Similar
EGR.
products can also be structured in the Gift City, and in fact, there are much more opportunities there, in my opinion. And Shivanshu, you are part of it, so I think you agree to that.
Yeah, I mean, see, ultimately, the retail has to come. No? That's another challenge. So wherever the retail is, we need to cater to that. There, of course, through the LRS, we can do it. And it is more efficient to, in terms of...
NRI is also.
NRIs.
NRI can also deposit.
Focus should be offshore NRIs, and that's a larger community as such. So and you're talking about a 10%, 15% plus GST difference.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
18%. So both things have their advantages. Domestic, the advantages, there is an established pool of liquidity. So like I said, which is regulated, and no, regulated even that is. So the pool is just another product for them, okay? It's like in your monthly cash statement, you'll see a mutual fund, so-and-so, EGR, how much gold you're having. So it's a different...
I think it's not far away, I guess. Maybe in the next couple of years, we will have all the statements containing this. Any further questions? Yes.
I think the people, NRIs who are investing into SPDR, particularly, there are many people we know who are already investing in SPDR. They can easily go to Gift City and for this ETF.
I have a very layman question. Suppose I'm new to digital gold. I have my investment in the jewelry, I have my investment in the gold bonds, but I don't have any investment in the digital gold. How I would be able to differentiate between MCX, Gullak, and the digital gold being provided by Pramod? Like as a layman, how I would know which is for me?
So it completely depends on what kind of investment and what is the horizon for which you are looking.
That's why I say, because we don't know the entry points for any of the specific investments.
Yeah.
So how would, as a layman, as a consumer, I would be knowing about it?
So let me.
For us, I would say, madam, 1 rupee you have, invest in gold, we can do it. Nobody else can do it.
One. That's just in a MCX, Gullak, digital money. I've got
So
three
only for
options.
digital.
Let me explain what we are doing.
Sure.
So it's very specific. So the digital gold that we are offering is very specific to jewelers. So what we're trying to do is to digitize the offerings of the jeweler. So let's say XYZ jeweler.
But they already have those monthly savings.
Correct. So that is on a physical form, right? So that's getting.
No, that's not physical.
No.
That's what
But
they're taking money. So they can invest that money in the digital gold for them.
so here it's a systematic way, right? You have to do 1,000 rupees every month, or it's a fixed amount.
Yep.
So this allows you to buy in bits and pieces. You can even do for 100 rupees, 10 rupees, accumulate it, and redeem it for jewelry or bars from the jeweler. Okay, so that's very specific to each jeweler.
And it is easier to distribute as well.
Got this.
So
And now MCX and Gullak.
Yes. MCX, ma'am, is a regulated exchange, is a commodity derivatives exchange. But our commodity derivative products, contracts, they also have a delivery at the end of the tenor. So you will not be able to get a gold outright on the spot. But if in the delivery period, which is 5 days staggered period, each one of the days is like a spot. The next day settlement, you get the metal and the money is transferred. the advantage is that transparency. You have an order book on an exchange which is in front of you to look at, and there's a depth in it which is natural, market provided, market determined price, and the making charges are separate. The price is discovered secularly by all types of players, hedgers, speculators, traders, and you can therefore you can do an efficient SIP on an exchange at different price points. And we have as low as 1 gram contract, which is fairly liquid, and you can once you lock in, you just pay the M2M on a daily basis. There are certain advantages, certain extra obligations.
Sure.
And at the end of it, you can hold it and keep it in the electronic account of yours.
As
When
long
you
as
want
you
to take it out, you can take it out.
Okay, that's great.
So you can take this discussion offline as well
Sure.
further. And I think we now wrap it up. And thank you very much. Thank you all the panelists.